Great, then if everyone is ready, Chair calls to order special legislative session day 20-014. And if I may, I would just like to remind our citizens that we continue to meet in a virtual format in order to adhere to the governor's and county executive orders. We will continue to meet under this during the COVID pandemic, also with a modified agenda. And with that, I would ask everyone to please join us in standing for the pledge, followed by the opening prayer by Councilman Wagner. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Wagner, you need to unmute your mic, sir.
I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Let's go. Our dear Heavenly Father, in these most difficult times, may you place your healing hand on those suffering and on the families that are unable to be with their loved ones in this time of comfort and need. May you be the comfort to all. We do ask a special prayer for our brother on the council, Tony G., as he recovers from spinal surgery, and ask your healing hand be upon him in the weeks ahead. Give each of us the wisdom, the knowledge, and the strength to do what is best for our county, our citizens, and what is best for our county in your pleasing eyes. In your name we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Vice President, would you please, under agenda item number 4, read in resolution 1020 and 1120 for the record?
Thank you, Mr. President. Resolution 1020-20, refunding bond series 2020B, introduced by Council President Vincini at the request of the county executive. A resolution of the county council of Harford County, Maryland, the county, having reference to the issuance of $87,630,000 original aggregate principal amount of series maturity bonds designated as Harford County, Maryland, refunding bonds series 2020B, the series 2020B refunding bonds. Fixing the interest rate payable on the series 2020B refunding bonds and awarding the series 2020B refunding bonds to the successful bidder. Therefore, upon the basis of bids received this day in accordance with the advertisement and official notice of sale, given notice to the sale pursuant to resolution number 004-20, adopted on February 18th, 2020, the terms of sale resolution, describing the form of the Series 2020B refunding bonds and the method of execution and authorization thereof, affirming that certain revenues are pledged to the payment of a portion.
There was authentication thereof, Council Vice President.
Okay, thank you. Bonds and the method of execution and authentication thereof, affirming that certain revenues are pledged to the payment of a portion of the Series 2020B refunding bonds, authorizing the county executive to enter into a continuing disclosure agreement with respect to the Series 2020B refunding bonds, and affirming that the full faith and credit and unlimited taxing power of Harford County, Maryland are pledged to the payment of the principal premium, if any, and interest on the Series 2020B refunding bonds. You want the other ones?
Yes, please.
Resolution 011-20, CPI bonds, Series 2020A, introduced by Council President Vincini at the request of the county executive. A resolution of the county council of Harford County, Maryland, the county, having reference to the issuance of $40 million original aggregate principal amount of series maturity bonds designated as Harford County, Maryland, Consolidated Public Improvement Bonds, Series 2020A, the Series 2020A CPI bonds, fixing the interest rate payable on the Series 2020A CPI bonds, and awarding the Series 2020A CPI bonds to the successful bidder. Therefore, upon the basis of bids received this day in accordance with the advertisement and official notice of sale, given notice of the sale pursuant to resolution number 005-20, adopted on February 18th, 2020, the terms of sale resolution, determining that the Series 2020A CPI bonds that mature on or after October 1, 2030 shall be subject to redemption prior to maturity, describing the form of the Series 2020A CPI bonds and the method of execution and authentication. I can't say it. Thank you. Thereof, affirming that certain revenues are pledged to the payment of a portion of the Series 2020A CPI bonds, authorizing the county executive to enter into a continuing disclosure agreement with respect to the Series 2020A CPI bonds, and affirming that the full faith and credit and unlimited taxing power of Harford County, Maryland, are pledged to the payment of the principal, premium, if any, and interest on the Series 2020A CPI bonds.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Council, at this time, it's our pleasure to recognize County Executive Glassman, Mr. Fabian Walters, our Special Bond Counsel, and Mr. Rob Salas, our Treasurer. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's good to be with you this afternoon. I am pleased to report that Harford County had a successful bond sale. In fact, I think in my second year, we had set a record for a low rate, but today we got the lowest rate in Harford County history at 2%. There's some numbers at the back, yeah, 2.069. But anyhow, a record low rate for Harford County on the 40 million, and then on the refunding 1.36, which is also a record for Harford County. And I think it clearly demonstrates the market's faith in Harford County budgeting, the work that we have done over the last 6 years, managing our revenue and expenses, our debt service by reducing that and paying off debt. We are an attractive investment for the market. And I think as you go through the budget, keep that in mind, that in fact, what we have done by this administration has been a success as far as bond rates and floating and managing our debt. So I would thank my treasurer, the director of administration, our bond counsel, and we look forward to hopefully many more of these types of productive sales. Thank you, Mr. President.
And then just to echo on the county executive's statements again, this is the lowest rate that we received back in 2015. 2016, we received a rate of 2.3. So at 2%, we're talking about 30 basis points less than that. I have not seen those numbers even around some of the other jurisdictions in Maryland that have had sales this year and the like. So this really is a momentous rate. And then on the refunding sale, and that was from the 2010 issuance with the 1.36 number. Just to kind of say what all that means to us, you know, the 2010 issuance, as we talked about before, was back during these Build America bonds that came out under the Obama administration. And the idea of them was that they would be taxable bonds, and they would then be subsidized by direct payments by the federal government to both the counties as the issuers, but then also the individuals who received the who purchased the bonds as well. But then unfortunately, a little thing called sequestration came around and reduced those subsidy payments. And then once we started looking at that, and then also just the rates in general were higher, we saw that we had the opportunity to refund, and a great thing that we did. So by getting that lower rate, what that translates to over the next 10 years is $11.6 million in savings from what we otherwise would have spent. And when you translate that into net present value into current dollars, that comes, and that is 10.7. So 11.6 total savings, and on a net present value basis, 10.7. So we're talking about $1 million or so a year. And then also on the new money, the $40 million of new money, getting that 2% rate is again a great rate to get. Originally, we were thinking about 3% would probably be our rate. That's what we've been getting the past couple of years. Just to kind of give you the idea about what the difference over the course of that 20 years is for a 2% versus a 3%, you're talking around $4 million of saved interest costs. So that's all these monies, whether they're on the refunding side or they're costs that we're foregoing by not having to sell at a higher rate. That all translates into additional dollars, and additional dollars that I'm sure we're going to be very much in need of during these times. And just a reminder about some of the projects that we're funding with that money, on the $40 million of new money. Talking about things such as a lot of our stormwater remediation projects to help to make for a cleaner bay and meet our EPA and Maryland Department of Environment requirements. The new Havre de Grace High School, finishing up youth benefit, another elementary roof, Boston Hall renovations at the community college, several road projects such as Tollgate Road and bridges throughout the county, Snake Lane, Glen Cove, Robinson Mill, as well as the Shucks Road Regional Complex for parks and athletic field improvements at our high schools. And that's in addition also, and that's about $37 million of projects that are related to kind of general government taxpayer supported. And there's also about $3 million of that for our water and sewer projects. Again, a reminder that the water and sewer projects are paid for by the debt service on water and sewer projects are paid for by the water and sewer users. And most of that's going towards new biosolids enhancements that will help us meet environmental regulations. And then on that 2010 bond issuance that we did refund, sometimes it's just good to remember that we often are paying for these costs for a 20-year period. And what we were able to do with those monies, that was the Edgewood High School replacement, the Bel Air High modernization replacement, the new Aberdeen water treatment plant expansion, the Red Pump Elementary School. So even for projects that have been up and running for a while, we're still paying the debt service on them. But now through this refunding, we'll be able to save a considerable amount of money on that debt service. And then with that, we'll turn it over to our bond counsel, and then followed if our financial advisor Davenport is on the line. So Fabian.
But just the fact that the market, based on the current market conditions, it's very beneficial and positive to the county that we received over 6 bids for both series of bonds. We have very reputable banks involved in the bidding. Both of the bids that were received and accepted were acceptable from a tax perspective, as far as qualifying under the tax rules and as well as adhering to the notice of sale requirements. So I think the county got a great deal, and it really, shows the market of the county in the current market.
And then is Jim Mason from Davenport on?
I'm on. Robin, this is Erickson.
Oh, Jen, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Just wanted to reiterate what everyone else has said. The fact, as you may know, the bond market has been fairly volatile over the last month to 6 weeks. So I think, the county receiving the best results that it's ever had before really speaks to the strength of the county. The number of bidders, as Mr. Walters had alluded to, was extremely strong, with 8 bids on the 2020 A's and 6 bids on the 2020 B's. And the amount of savings that was realized in the refunding was actually, twice the amount that we had anticipated. So just great results overall for the county. So congratulations.
And thank you, and would also just again like to thank our bond counsel, Miles Sockridge, and our financial advisors, Davenport. the staff and treasury, and really I think just the whole county operation, because when they look at our credit rating, they're looking at everything, and it's kind of a reflection on the county as well. So once again, very pleased with this result.
Mr. Salas, I didn't quite hear the representative from Davenport. I believe you said. What was her name again? For the record,
Is Jennifer Dierksen?
thank you, sir.
Yes.
Mr. County Executive, I want to express my congratulations to you and your entire administration and team for a job well done. And at this time, I'd like to open it up to my colleagues for any questions. Anyone have any questions for either the county executive or anyone else in attendance? Mr. Schroeds.
Well, first, I just want to say congratulations. It is a great testament to the county. It does seem like our timing is right. Does this follow the 10-year Treasury yield? I was just looking at it on my phone, and it happens to be that it's down almost 8% today. Did that have a factor in there that it's at 0.605 right now? Usually that number is usually around closer to 2, and it's at 0.604.
I'll let Davenport answer that.
Great. This is Jennifer Dierksen again. Yes, the municipal market typically, follows the 10-year treasury, the treasury market. So that could have an impact on rates that we receive today. As I said, it's been sort of volatile. We've seen rates tick up over the last few weeks. So the fact that, rates potentially are declining today, and the county was able to get in on this timing and receive the rates that it did is a positive.
All right, that's awesome. Sometimes I can't remember what index, that they follow sometimes, but I just happened to look down and I'm like, wow, it's really a good day. Actually, I looked down as you were speaking. It was like even below that number there for a little bit, but it's incredible news. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeds. Anyone else?
I'm sorry, Joe. Was that Joe Mason from Davenport?
I'm sorry, missed your name.
Can you, Joe Mason with Davenport? Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Oh, great, thank you. I would just add to what Ms. Dierksen said that, yes, the movement in the 10-year certainly was probably sympathetic to the result that we received today in the municipal market. But what shouldn't be overlooked is the importance of your AAA bond ratings that you've worked so hard to earn, because not every local government out there has access to the market in the same way that you do, and what drives that is the ratings. Transactions that are getting done of any size, such as yours, are getting done with very high-grade issuers. So you were able to take advantage of a very good market, and there was a great deal of demand for your bonds, and that all starts with all the hard work and the decisions you make over the years to gain and keep those AAA ratings. So just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Beulah.
Yes, I also would like to thank the county executive and all his team for maintaining the AAA bond rating. And this is going to save us probably badly needed money in the future. And so congratulations, job well done. And Mr. Sanders, if you could send me over just your notes as far as the projects that this bond money, the $40 million, will use, what it will be used to pay for, as well as the savings, if you could send that over, please.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Beulah. Council members? All right, seeing no one else, may I have a motion on Resolution 010-20?
Mr. President,
Mr. Woods,
I move to approve Resolution 010-20, refunding bond series 2020B.
Second.
thank you, Mr. Schroeds. It's moved and seconded to approve Resolution 010-20. Is there any discussion? Ms. Dixon?
Mr. President,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Woods.
Aye.
Mr. Schroeds,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner,
Aye.
Mr. Beulah.
Aye.
There being 6 in the affirmative and 1 absent, the resolution 010-20 is hereby approved. Resolution 011-20, may I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Woods,
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution 011-20, CPI bond series 2020A.
may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeds. It's moved and second to approve Resolution 011-20. Is there any discussion? Ms. Dixon?
Mr. President,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Woods.
Aye.
Mr. Schroeds,
Aye.
Mr. Wagner,
Aye.
Mr. Beulah.
Aye.
There being 6 votes in the affirmative and 1 absent, Resolution 011-20 is hereby approved. Again, I want to express our congratulations and thanks for all that you do. And with that, this meeting will be adjourned unless, Mr. County Executive, you have anything you would like to add.
No, thank you, council members, Mr. President. We appreciate working with you.
Thank you. Well, then this will conclude this meeting and we stand adjourned.